Hi there, this is Mark. I just finished watching Simon's episode on the Amiga and how he got that. I currently own an Amiga 500, which I'm going to give away to Mr. Custard, and I do own an Amiga 1200, which I recently got. But back in the day I did not own an Amiga myself for a long time. Around the time I was saving up money actually to buy an Amiga, I planned on buying an Amiga. I think it was the summer of 88 or 89 or 87, not sure, but the thing was that games were hugely expensive, and I couldn't see myself buying all these games for it, and I didn't know any people actually who owned an Amiga, so copying discs and stuff, I mean, people would do that back in the day, but that was not really an option, and the discs were just hugely expensive. So back in the day I had the chance. I was actually working in a rose nursery, and I was working there, and I just was dreaming about the Amiga, contemplating on getting it, and but then something struck my mind, like I wouldn't have the funds to buy any games for it. So I actually ended up switching my plans for the Amiga to get a 1541 disk drive to complement my Commodore 64, because I'd been using tape loading, CT1 tape loading, and the games for the Commodore 64 were a lot more affordable, and I was actually able to get a lot of discs from someone who was giving away his Commodore 64 and stuff. I mean, he was selling his Commodore 64, but people weren't interested in the discs, so I actually got hold of a huge number of discs, and I actually was, very busy programming the Commodore 64, but that actually really took off when I had my 1541 disk drive, because I was able to save my work more quickly, and I was able to catalog my work more efficiently. So, and I always kept on dreaming about the Amiga, and now I finally have one, a working one, because my Amiga 500. I actually had another Amiga 500, but the disk drive went, and so I wasn't able to play any games for it. And it is not very expandable to any hard drive. Well, it is actually now, but back in the day that was just not an option. And yeah, a lot of people consider the Atari ST the poor man's Amiga, but a lot of my friends actually had an Atari ST. Mr. Custard, he had an Atari ST. And my cousin had an Atari ST, and still, I mean, I think I pretty much was into Commodore, and actually, what made me want to go for an Amiga was actually something that was very promising back in the day. It was actually pretty huge among certain circles that there was this program called Frodo that was supposed to come out, which made the Amiga backwards compatible software emulation with the Commodore 64, which was huge to me, because I would be able to at least transfer my discs across, and be able to use the games on the Amiga. Well, as it turned out, the Commodore 64 emulation on the Amiga never really was very good, at least not the Frodo back in the day. Still not sure whether there's any good Commodore 64 emulation on the Amiga, but yeah, this is me rambling on about the Amiga, just catching up on YouTube videos that I missed out on. And if you haven't watched Simon's videos, please go check them out, because he's really getting into his stride here, making a lot of excellent videos and showing us a lot of, he's really talking about the systems that meant something to him, the games, and in a very intelligent way, which is very enjoyable. So I think he shouldn't change a thing. It's just, it's just good what he does. So yeah, Mark signing off, and I'll be back with another video soon. Oh, and I'm recording this on the iPad